Hey, Jeff here with Digital Trends to give you a quick look at the T-Mobile MyTouch 4G slide. The name is quite a mouthful, but luckily this one kind of has enough power to justify the name. It's called the slide, obviously, because it has a slide-out keyboard there. We aren't huge fans of the keyboard. It's got tons of space. It's a 3.7-inch screen. A lot of real estate down here to work with. The sliding mechanism is actually very, very pleasant and a little bit addictive. But the actual buttons are a little shallow, and the keyboard itself is very flat. And it's a little stretched out too, so it took a while getting used to. Obviously, with any keyboard, you can get used to it over time. Not one of the strongest features of the phone, though. An otherwise very, very attractive phone. It's a little heavy too. I believe it's about six and a half ounces. Plastic backing here. This, you can get it in black as well on the back here. Metal rim there. And this is a dual-core phone. It's by HTC actually. It's branded the MyTouch brand, but it is an HTC phone. And you can tell because it looks absolutely gorgeous. The UI, it's got all the HTC widgets. This runs HTC Sense 3.0 and it runs on Android 2.3. So this was the first in kind of a barrage of phones that finally began running Android 2.3, which actually came out last December, but we're only now seeing it arrive in phones very recently. So it's a dual-core phone, dual-core 1.2 gigahertz phone, I believe. And so it's just very speedy, very quick, has 3/4 of a gig of RAM. And as you can see, it's got some of the HTC features. You can spin it really fast there. Failing to do it with the camera here under pressure, but it does work there. It's also got a little tray of icons on the bottom here. And this is the app menu, which it's filled with HTC's apps. This is a good thing and a bad thing. Most of HTC's custom apps are very good, but they do tend to replace a couple of Google's own apps with their own, or they don't tend to update them as much. For example, Google Navigation and Google Places are a little out of date on this device. They don't have a couple features that are present in the newest versions. But it's not a big issue. Hopefully HTC will upgrade that. The browser is a little custom browser too, so it acts a little different. Down here on the bottom, there we go. Down here on the bottom we have actual buttons, which is a nice change of pace. Usually there's haptic buttons on Android phones like this, but there's an actual home button, menu, back, and this Genius button here, which if you press it, or I'll press it again, press it a little harder. Search.
What are you searching for?
Digital trends. So this will do searches for you or check your contacts. It pretty much does what Google's own voice search does, but it's a little nicer. Hopefully Google will update their software. We're seeing a lot of manufacturers start to put in their own voice software or contract that out, which it'd be better if Google would just improve theirs. But other than that, this is it's got a lot of good T-Mobile apps in it, or standard T-Mobile apps I should say. It's got Netflix built in. And the big draw of the phone, other than perhaps the keyboard, and I forgot to mention it does have a touchpad here that's actually pretty useful. It does work pretty well for a touchpad. I'm not sure why an Android phone really needs a touchpad in this day and age, but it is one of the more useful ones. But going back to the camera, the rear camera is an 8-megapixel camera. It's probably one of the best cameras we've seen. It has a lot of built-in options for different camera. You can do panorama shots and a lot of different types of shots. With the camera here. Let's see if I can pull it up. So it's got a lot of traditional effects, a whole bunch of stuff. you can play with that. And then it has a very fast autofocus. So it'll actually autofocus very quick. It's very difficult to show you right now, but it tends to autofocus. You can actually touch anywhere on the screen, and it'll focus on that, and it takes a picture very fast, probably as fast as we've seen. It doesn't have an actual shutter on it, but certainly one of the better cameras. HTC's cameras are usually pretty good in general on their high-end smartphones. Again, none of these are really as good as a high-end point-and-shoot or a DSLR or anything like that, of course, but pretty good for a smartphone. It's also got a dual LED flash, and the front-facing camera is a little weak. It's VGA only, but oh, this is gonna show me now. Well, anyway, but it's VGA only, but it does have facial tracking on it, so it will kind of track your face a little better there. But again, VGA, so it only can take a 640 by 480 or 398 or something picture. So overall, a very good phone. It's got a good feel to it, and we've seen it online for about 99 bucks, which is a very good price for a dual-core device. It's a decent deal at $200. It's not out of the price range that it should be. But overall, that is a look at the MyTouch 4G Slide.